as an ESP trainer and also teaching at Czech Republic at LT University. Now, currently, I am working at my PhD thesis, and I think in autumn I am going to get my degree of professor, and I will be very, very glad to share my knowledge in this sphere. Today, our topic, as Brian has shared, it will be about the needs of analysis. First of all, you are here to learn and you are here to gain some kinds of knowledge, experience in your field. And what do you want while you are teaching, while you are learning? What is your main goal in this case? I want you, first of all, in order to get acquainted for a few minutes to each other and also to get known to each other, I want you to paint a star. And as you know, we have 5 points on the star. Please look here. Do you see my screen? My star. Do you see my star?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I offer you to paint a star and please write here 5 points about why do you want to learn English? Your aims or maybe your goals or something to learn English because I want to travel. For example, you have about 1 minute. Please paint your stars and then show me and write down the main goals. Why do you want to learn English? Okay, I think each of you has a great goal for it. Yes. Please write down on the points. Why do you want to learn English? Mhm. Okay. Is there anyone? Is it who has already decided? Okay. Is there anyone who wants to share? Or you are still thinking of what do you want?
I
Because I
think
see we
teacher
have
they're really
there's
serious in thinking the reasons.
yes.
They're really
As
into
for
that
me,
activity.
Brian, as for me, I gave them test, and at the same time, before giving it, I was also thinking, why have I learned English? And why have I become a trainer of English language? I
Yeah,
think, what
that's
about
right.
you, Brian? Do you have? What
Oh,
about you? Why don't you do it?
oh yeah. Well, actually, I have a star right now, and I already have some reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I have lots of reasons, but one of the reasons would be I want to communicate with everyone.
Yes, yes. The main problem is the main aim of our learning English is communication. Because if you want to have foreign friends, foreign, I don't know, speeches. In my case, I just participate in different kinds of international conferences, and the main language is English. That's why I have to know it and to learn it. Okay. Do we have anyone? Who can be the first, who is very, very brave and can show? Okay, let's consider just to mention one or two aims about learning English, not with five. With five, I think it's some kind of problem that you are going to think about it more, two, three, maybe the whole day. That's why let's pay attention to the one or two points. The other ones you will think and write in your star after the lesson. Okay, one. I see Olga.
Hi,
Am
hi,
I
ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am. You can call
Okay.
me Olga. I
Okay.
was able to write three at the top of my
Okay.
head.
It's
Um,
okay.
First one is just like what Sir Brian said. I want to learn more about English to make me a better communicator.
Mhm.
Next one is I want to be a good teacher or learning facilitator in the future. And the third one is I want to avoid or evade making the common mistakes that English speakers commit when sharing ideas or teaching others about the English language.
Mhm. Great. Thank you very much. Who else wants, for example, Dara or Krisa? I'm sorry if I will pronounce your names incorrect. Sorry
Yes,
for
ma'am.
it. Okay, please, Dara.
Um, I only wrote four. I was only able to write four
Oh,
reasons.
you
I'm
have more.
sorry.
Okay.
Uh,
Mhm.
I have here uh to share my knowledge about English to my future students as because I want to be a teacher. And
Mhm.
one more thing is to be able to understand some of my friends, my
Mhm.
foreign friends.
Okay, it's great.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dara. What about the other Olivera? Am I right? I try to pronounce correctly your names, but mhm, please, Olivera, can you?
Yan, Olivera po, yan.
Mhm.
My first thought is for me to be able to share my knowledge about English to my future students. And the second
Mhm.
one is to be flexible and to be part of the world to get deeper understanding of others' culture and to be a good speaker.
Great. It's very great. And who else? Thank you very much for sharing your opinion. Who wants else? We have Azanit Paris. Yes, am I right?
Yes, hi. Um, I listed here three reasons why I want to learn English. First is that I want to conquer my fear when it comes to especially to speaking in English because I know that I'm not that really fluent and I don't want to be criticized by others. And number two, I want to relate to everyone very well. And lastly, I want to learn English because I want to be a good language teacher one day.
Okay, you
That's
would
all.
be. I'm sure you would be. But what about the criticizing? Don't be ashamed of speaking with mistakes, with some kinds of errors, because even we trainers, we teachers sometimes do such kind of mistakes. That's why. And there is a saying that if it is said that someone speaks very bad, let's say very bad in your case, it means that she or he knows a few languages. And that's why sometimes people are confused when they have mistakes, when they are ashamed of speaking or being criticized. But my advice, you never be afraid of being criticized, because in this case you gain a lot of knowledge and experience, and you can overcome all the difficulties. Be brave, especially when you learn language, because if you are ashamed of criticizing, or I don't know, you are afraid of it, it means that you don't want to learn it, the language. what refers to foreign language, you should be brave and you should be just self-confident, and it will help you. Okay, thank you very much. Who wants else?
Thank you.
Okay, here we have Jocelyn Mantala, as I could read your name. Am I right? Please unmute. Please unmute. Jocelyn. She has maybe some kinds of internet connection problems. Please unmute. Unmute. We don't hear her.
Sorry.
Okay.
First thing that I want to learn English because I am going to teach English language in the future to my future students. And second is I want to communicate with everyone very well because English is important in socializing. And then it helped us to become a better listener. And that's all.
Mhm. Okay, great. And we have one more. Pauline, please. Thank you very much for sharing your opinion. Please, Pauline.
Yes. Hello. I wrote here three key points. First is I want to have enough knowledge about it so I can teach my students about English language correctly in the future. Second, I want to be fluent on it and be confident speaking in English. And lastly, I want to have a good communication skills, just like what others mentioned, and express myself well in this language. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much. I think, Brian, we shall have many, many students in our projects that we have global projects, also your students in future. Yeah, am I right?
Yeah, definitely,
Because,
Teacher Alice. These young learners who will be the future of our nations are really good when it comes to expressing themselves, most especially because they're taking up English. Their dedication and passion is here. That's why they are really eager to learn more from us, most especially from you, our guests.
okay, I think that in future we shall see you in our global meetings, and I'll be very, very glad that you will be already a specialist. I just feel, looking at you, I just feel myself as a student many, many years ago when I was a, yeah, BA student at the same age as you, and was very eager to learning, to gaining experience. And now when I look back, I see that I understand you, and I'm sure that you will be a great teacher. And maybe someday, I don't know, when you will teach at college, at universities, I'll come as a guest to listen to your lesson. Maybe, I'm not sure, but first of all, I'll be glad to do it. Okay, Brian, can I share? Do I have an opportunity to share my screen?
Yes, Teacher Alice, please.
Okay, now my question, my icebreaker warm up with start activity. My aim was to just to consider to be able to know what kind of, what aims, what destination, what do you want to know, what do you want to have in order to become a great teacher, not teacher, but a great teacher as your teacher here. That's why now, according to these answers that I have gained from your answer, now I am going to share my screen. I don't know, do you see my screen or not? Do
All
you see
good,
my
teacher.
screen?
It's loading.
Okay, what about now? Do you see
Yes,
my
teacher.
screen? Okay, great. Now, as we have already mentioned about the topic that we are going to have, definitions of need, analysis, and hypothetical scenarios in ASP class. Because, first of all, when we speak English, we usually speak about the general English, and but today we are going to speak about the another word about the ESP, English for Specific Purpose, which is very interesting sphere, and I would recommend all of you just to investigate and gain much experience and knowledge in this field. Because ESP, first of all, before going to needs of analysis, I would like you to pay attention to the ESP. What is ESP at first? And is it connected? Is it a part of general English or not? I would like to represent you the photo about the ESP and general English, because ESP, if we pay attention to the photo, we shall see that it's a general English, because in general English we have everything. We have
Teacher Alice.
uh-huh.
Yeah, sorry to cut you out. What we can see is your Google Meet screen. I think you have another screen, perhaps. Maybe the other screen.
Just a minute. I shall try to do.
Yes,
look
teacher.
what's going on here. Okay. What about now?
Not yet, teacher. What we can still see is the actual Google Meet screen.
What?
Are you using a PowerPoint, teacher?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you need to select the actual PowerPoint screen.
Just a minute.
Yes, teacher. Take your time.
I'll try it again. But I see that. What about now? Do you see my screen or not?
Non-teacher. Or there is, yeah, but it's quite small. There you go.
No. I am
Yeah.
going to make it now. What
Perfect,
about now?
teacher. We can see it
Okay,
now.
good.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Uh-huh. Now, you see the main picture, ESP with general English, which I'm going to represent you, and to differ to have some kind of opinion about the different points of ESP and general English, because in general English and ESP are connected to each other. But as you see from the picture, general English refers to all spheres that we deal with English. It can be listening, speaking, I don't know, reading or writing, everything that is included in it. But what refers to the ESP, it's something special, because at the end of the lesson, I will show you some kinds of books. I have gained many books and for you to show in order to be more specialized in ESP field. And ESP is something learning directed by specific learners, because when we say ESP, it means that we have specific purposes, specific learners, specific materials. Everything is specific and refers to a specific field. It can be medicine, it can be, I don't know, education, engineering, IT field, everything that is, it means that specific. And everything that you are going to learn refers only to this field. It means, for example, the same as we say, for example, when we have science at schools, science subjects, but we say science, it's a global one. But when we say biology, chemistry, or physics, it's specific fields. The same is here. We have general English and we have ESP, the other specific branches of general English, which is called as ESP. The next topic is needs and analysis, which I want you to consider and to pay attention to, because when you have painted your stars with 5 points and trying to write down why do you want it, it was speaking about your needs. What needs do you have in order to know English, in order to learn what objectives, what aims, all this is included in needs of analysis. And this kind of spectre is very important for you. It is very important not only in the sphere of, for example, teaching English, but also in all spheres. Because when you want to learn something, you always, first of all, pay attention to your needs. What do you need? What do you want? What objectives and aims do you have in order to read? About this problem, we have different kinds of definitions, different kinds of concepts. I have here represented some of them. First of all, I want to pay attention to the Lawson's conception because it is recognized, but it is something that is discovered and its existence derives from whatever criteria are thought to be relevant in making the diagnosis. Because when we need further, I will show you that when we want to have kind of the whole concept, what we want to do with ESP, in this case, first of all, we have to do some kind of diagnosis because we want to find out what is the program, what is needed. It's the same, for example, think of about, for example, you want to make a salad. Everyday example, let's say, and before it, you try search in the internet to find out some kind of recipes. Then you sometimes I think you read the comments. Is it delicious? Is it not? Or is it difficult? Is it etc. Then you try to find out the ingredients of the salad, and after it, you buy and start to do everything. It means that in every case, this here also is the same. For ESP, for example, when we have ESP for medicals, for doctors, for medicine field, we diagnose. We try to find out which content, which material, which vocabulary, even sometimes grammar part we need in order to have the whole course, and also not to organize the whole course, but also it includes theoretical, practical, some materials, handouts, and everything is included in this course. And the next one, the gap between what is and what should be. It's very interesting one because when you want to have a course, first of all, you have to investigate and find out the whole content of it. Because when I see, sometimes we trainers, someone, when we have a new student and he say, do you know, I am an IT specialist and I want to know English very well. And I say, oh, great, let's start. The first lesson is greeting, hello, etc., etc., etc. But after second, third lesson, my student may tell me, do you know, I am IT specialist and I don't need, for example, these topics. I want to know something special in my field. And that's why when we have to organize a course, we have to find out what is the needs of my student, the needs of the course that I'm going to teach, and then to have also the outcome. After doing these steps, what kind of outcome am I going to have? And are the results effective? Are the results going to be effective or not? Try to do some kinds of diagnosis about it. And the next one about the target, and it is also very important just to design how you are going to design the course, because the success of your course sometimes depends on the design of your course. You can have, for example, only theoretical part, no practical part, and in the end, at the end of the course, you see that you know nothing. Because, you know, for example, I can say Lawson said, no. Or Hutchins, Waters, or these ones, they say, but when I go and enter the class, you will feel it when you go and for the first time when you enter school as a teacher, not as a student. As a teacher, when you for the first time you enter school, it's some kind of feeling that you know nothing. But in really, you have passed, you have graduated university, you have let's say big or I don't know, a large amount of knowledge in this field. But when you enter the class, you stand straight and thinking, where should I, even if you have lesson plan, sometimes you are just embarrassing, what am I going to do? How can I start? And kind of difficulties and problems that you can have. That's why when we have a special course for ESP, we try to stress the practical part because ESP is something that we should use. For example, when doctors come and they want to have to learn English, the main aim of their learning is that to go to conferences, to be able to read the medicine recipes in English. Why not to go as a speaker in different kinds of trainings or to go to a fellowship or something that they need most of all. And that's why in this course, practical part is very, very important. We have different kinds of needs, different types of needs. And as you see in this picture, I wanted to show you the relationship of vocational needs, social needs, culture, personal learning, because as we have found out from your stars, you have different kinds of needs. Why do you need to learn English? In this case, also the same, and we have some kinds of different uh, types of needs which can be used in our everyday life, in our teaching process. And here I want to show you the main types as formal, actual, hypothetical, and want. Because in every case we have different kinds of mm, let's say types, and according to it we are going also to have different kinds of needs. For example, when we have formal one, it means that in this case it's the materials, the textbook, everything, the course, its aim that we need for it to do. If we have actual, in this case something that we need for everyday life. For example, I can know grammar rules, but I cannot use it when I speak, when I communicate with my colleague, with my foreign friends. In this case, it's also very important one to know such kind of these types of things. Or we want, or hypotheticals, these all of them are very, very interesting one. And all these components you need when you want to design a course for you. I also here I have objectives, subjectives ones, and social needs and educational needs, because some of you have mentioned that you want to become a teacher. Some of you have mentioned about that you want to communicate. Why not to go and get your MA or just PhD? Why not abroad? And all these can be objective and subjective needs, and also can be connected to society, can be connected to educational needs, and all of them are very important for you. And also, I want to mention specially to specialize the target needs as lacks, necessities, and wants, because in this case, what the learner needs to do in the target situation. Imagine you are engineer, let's say. Imagine you are engineer and you go to an expo, an exhibition of engineering technologies. And in this case, the main objective, the main goal for you may be the ones that you have an opportunity to not only to communicate, just everyday communication, but also be able to explain, to ask, or just to describe something in your field. And in this case, the situations that you have, everyday situation, it can be in this situation you will be able just to communicate and speak English. Because sometimes, for example, I have a student who is an engineer, and from time to time he goes abroad to take part in conferences, and he says, in everyday life I can speak English, I can communicate, because I know I have a vocabulary, some kinds of grammar points, everything. I can listen and understand. But when it comes to a special field, to my field of engineering, I am I have some kind of problems because I don't know these spheres, and I am not only know, but I don't have much knowledge on this field in order to express my opinion, in order to, for example, to represent the technologies. That's why the situations that you are going to have in your everyday life is very important one. Here we have when we analyze the needs, we have three parts: necessities, lacks, and wants. The first one is necessities, what the learners has to know, because in this case, when you want to take an ESP course in your field, you should know what you want to know, what you need in order to be good at speaking English in your sphere. And the next one is what the learner knows already. We concentrate on this field because in this case we have to find out to diagnose their level, their knowledge, not only about speaking, listening, but everything that concerns to their English sphere. And also the wants, what they want to be learned, what they want to know at the end of the course. Just imagine you are future teachers. I think these all three components you also need. Imagine you have graduated university or college, and now you are going to enter school. What do you know, for example? Just can anyone tell me what do you need in order to have an effective lesson? What do you need for it? Can someone share his opinion? According to this model, what do you need to have? Please be brave, be open. Don't be afraid of.
Teachers?
Teachers, I would like to listen to your opinion. Next time, Brian, I think I shall bring with me a psychological test to find out.
No need, teacher. Okay, maybe they're just thinking. So, teacher Alice just wants to know, after looking at this, the current screen that you have right now, what do you need? Okay, as a teacher who will be, teaching ESP. So, basing on this presentation that you can see on your screen, teachers, what exactly do you need? Okay, I think Miss Olga would like to answer, and then Ed Lynn.
Uh, from what I observed, ma'am, in this presentation or at this page, I think we need to learn how to assess a situation if we want to teach a certain group of people or a certain group in general. So I think we need to learn how or what they need so that we could prepare better for whatever uh, we want to teach them.
Mhm. Great, thank you for sharing. Okay, one more student.
Mr. Bito, I think you raised your hand.
Yes, sir. My answer will be similar to what Ate Olga said, but for me, I choose different uh words, which is based on the screen. I think we must first investigate the the class that we will be handling for us to know the wants, the lacks, and then the necessities that required inside of the classroom.
Mhm. Okay, great. Thank you very much. I think in every case you have to know everything because when you want to make a lesson plan, you should know what age, what aims, what objectives do you have for specific that lesson, to know the level of your students, what they have known, because I can enter the classroom and speak about the past simple tense, but knowing that they don't know anything about the present simple. But everything I have to construct based on present simple. That's why you have to know what they have already known about something, and after it, what the learners have to know at the end of your lesson, and then you have to assess, as you have mentioned, to assess about what they have learned and what they want to learn. And all these components are very connected to each other. Here I have represent more specific, more in detail about the personal information, language, learning needs, needs for from the course, professional, everything which is considered to be uh, included in your course of ESP. And not only in your course of ESP, but also I think all of them you need. I haven't, oh, I have forgotten to also to share you about the lesson plans, but in one of my practical parts, I shall try to give you that I have included all these parts in order to have in my lesson plan. And I think if you want to succeed in your lesson, to have a good, effective ones, you have to do it. Now, about the some kinds of analyzing learning needs, what we need. It's very interesting one, and we always need this part when we want to analyze our needs and to have a successful course. First of all, the first part is why are the learners taking course? Every time, especially everything that refers to the ESP, all the learners have specific purposes. Some of them you have mentioned in your STAR activity, but also, as I have also mentioned about them, they have specific for their field, for their work, for their career, for their, I don't know, postgraduate education, fellowship. It can be, everything can be taken in this course, and as why take this, why they want to take this course in order to know English better. The next one, where will be the ESP course take a place? It's very also important. Sometimes before the pandemic situation, we, all of us were concentrated on the only face-to-face meetings, trying to say that it's a traditional method, it's good, the best one, as. But nowadays, when there is pandemic situation, it also has its positive sides because it gives us to take some kinds of courses in any place, anytime, or when we want. Because ESP courses, when we can take it in our country and can have some, can take some kinds of experience in this field. But what refers to the foreign experience, what refers to foreign educators, books sometimes, and practices, because all of these components are very different and are specific to each country. This one, when we have online ESP courses, it gives us an opportunity just to go and virtually to go and have a good or a very, very effective courses. That's why it can be. What refers to this ESP course with practical part, for example, when I have ESP about for hotel workers, for hotel staff, my course usually is divided into two parts. Usually we have 3 or 4 times, it depends on the course, meetings with students, but what's interesting, sometimes we have theoretical part at college or universities, and after it we have different kinds of agreements with hotels, and it gives an opportunity to go to the hotel and also to have some kind of practice. Or sometimes, for example, I can take my students to a hotel that we have, our university sometimes have agreements to that hotel, and we have lessons at the hotel. They see, they touch, they feel everything with their own eyes. And in this case, all the theoretical part, there is no theoretical background. It goes to transfers to practical part. And I know even I have students who from college we have taken to hotel as a practice, And at the end of the practice, they stayed at the hotel as a worker, as an administrator, I don't know, as a manager. And that's why the place of ESP is also a very important one. How do the learners learn? It can be interviews, it can be questionnaires, tests, quizzes, materials, handouts, everything, listenings, everything that can refer to your field for learning the English, for example, from for medical workers or for even for you teachers. Sometimes you can also have ESP because in this case you get acquainted with the principles, with lesson plan structures, how to have effective lessons, etc. And when will the ESP course take place? It depends on the course content. How much time do you have? Because sometimes we have um, workers who said, I have entered already the hotel and I have only 1 month to learn something, to learn English on my field. That's why it depends on also the students and the course duration. And the learners of ESP, these are people, can be students, can be workers, can be, I don't know, even professors or trainers who want to be practice, to work, to become an expert in their field, speaking, communicating, or representing everything in their English. Okay, it's what's the theoretical part, as I have mentioned to you. In this case, I want you to share also and represent you some kinds of research results about the reports. The purpose of learning English. Here we have some kinds of research about the academic score increasing, find a good job. As I have mentioned, all these materials I am going to send Brian, as we have decided. Yes, I will send all these materials to you. They can just look through, have as a material for them. Here we have different kinds of aim of learning, reading, etc. All this you will do it, and all these results you will see as I want to pass from theoretical part into an interesting practical part. Are you tired? Are you tired? Do you
No,
see? Do you
ma'am.
hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I hear
Okay.
you.
Yes.
They're
Okay.
just eager
Okay.
listeners, teacher. They're really silent because they are absorbing everything you're sharing so that they can use it as we move towards. Because teacher Alice, at the end of our of this subject, I've asked them to teach or to share a specific English for. So they're gonna think, what English are they gonna be teaching? So they must be authentic. Okay, no one should be the same. So English for this, English for that. So this is really a good
Okay.
opportunity, teacher. They're just focused, all right? That's why they are really silent.
Okay, great. Now, in order to be activate, I offer you to do a little activity. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now such kind of activity I want to offer you. Now I will give instruction because as you are, all of you are sitting in front of screen, I think your eyes are very tired. That's why I'm going to have an activity about training and about having some kind of rest for your eyes. The instruction is this. Every instruction that I'm going to give you, you have to repeat to do it for 5 seconds. The first instruction is to look right for 5 seconds, to look left when I say. When I tell you, you will do it left for 5 seconds, then up 5 seconds, down 5 seconds, to close your eyes very tightly and set for 5 seconds, and also then widely open your eyes. Okay, are you ready to start? I would
Yes, ma'am.
like to.
Yes po.
I
Yes, ma'am.
should. Okay, I would like. Now, Three, two, one. Please look right. Right. Don't turn your heads. Only eyes. Only eyes, not heads. Dara, don't turn your head. Only eyes. Okay. Now turn. Look left. Great. Now up. Great. Now down. Brian, I don't see. What do you do or not? Because your camera is off. Now please tight your eyes tightly for 5 seconds. And now open your eyes widely. Okay, great. Thank you, all of you. Now, are you a little bit active or not?
My hours are doing great, teacher.
Okay, now I offer you, as I have promised, I want to have some kinds of practical. I don't know, Brian, how much time do we have?
We still have, it's 2:47. I believe you can finish your presentation, teacher. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
You still have enough
Okay,
time.
yes. Why I ask, I need also to, I shall stop representing, then I want to share it again in order because we are going to have a listening part. That's why, just a minute, I shall share it again with you in order to get an opportunity to um, okay, do you see my screen? But I'm not sure. Okay,
Not yet.
we shall try. Okay, I think you now see my screen.
It is still loading, ma'am.
What about now? Please tell me when you.
We can see it.
Okay, now today I have decided to choose you ESP for it. Just okay, to have ESP for hotel and hospitality. At the end of the session, I will also show you some books that you can get and use it in your project work. As I know, I chose this topic because I knew that you like, most of you like traveling, and it will be very useful for you. Um, just a minute, I show. Here we have it, ESP, some kinds of approaches about the ESP, and hotel industry because it's a very large industry, and nearly in every country tourism is very, very developed, and all in every country every year we have, not if we miss this year that we have pandemic, every year we have many tourists from all over the world, and our staff of hotels always, it doesn't matter you are a manager, you are a worker, even cleaners, even waiters and waitresses, they need English because it gives them an opportunity to speak with the tourists. And here for this lesson plan, my aim is to design, to help to train the following hotel staff. Here we have something for you. It can be hotel management, hotel reception, everything, housekeeping, everything that refers to the field of tourism, to the field of this hotel and hotel services. The topic that I'm going to represent you, it is called as difficult guests. At first, I have decided how to check in, check out, but I think it will be very something general topic for you. That's why I wanted to have something special for you, especially with difficult guests. For example, just imagine for a moment when you have guests at your home. Do you have sometimes difficult guests at your own homes or not? Do you have difficult guests? One of, for example, your relatives or friends comes and he's not the one, he speaks, or does something wrong, and you say, how difficult guest he or she is. I wish he went home. Do you have or not?
I think we've experienced it once before, maybe, ma'am.
Mhm. Okay. Now, for having such kind of lesson, I have chosen listening for you. Just a minute, I shall just turn on. Please tell me, do you hear the voice or not? Do you listen or not?
We we can't hear it, ma'am.
Right. Today, as I think I have some kinds of problems with my sharing my screen. Ryan, can you help me?
Yes, teacher.
I
Sorry,
tried
I also got some issues with my internet. So yeah, the audio was it?
Yes, the audio one. I want to share it, but as when I sharing, I don't see the button of volume. The
Teacher, I think if you're going to share, if you click the percent now, are you using a separate application or is it in the same tab?
I have this one, your entire screen window, and that have this ones I have.
Yeah, can you try the, because usually if we're gonna share the entire screen, I'll try on my end. Girls, can you check if you can hear? Let me just try.
Start broadcast.
Can you hear
Yes,
the sound?
Yes,
No,
sir.
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
No po.
yes, we hear it, Brian. I think it comes from the part of you are
Okay.
the host, maybe because of it, because
Yeah, let me check the settings for a while, teacher.
mhm.
Setting, share, video. Okay, host control, quick access, share their screen. I think everything should work fine. Teacher, can you try to share the entire screen and then try again the video if it will work?
Mhm. No, I'm going. Please tell me. I'm turning off.
Apparently, still not, teacher. Is it
Don't.
possible if you can send it, teacher? Then I'll play it.
Hi, it's on the disk. Let's do this one. I shall give you activity according to
Okay.
this listening. And before it, I shall try to record it on a telephone and to represent you, okay? In order not to waste time. Now, the first instruction for you is that you are going, do you see my screen?
Yes, teacher.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes
Uh-huh.
po.
Okay, now the first one is about this one. You have, here we have some words, and we have mixed meanings, definitions of these words. That's why please look at these words and match the words with their definitions. You are going to work individually and you have about 2 minutes to do it. Okay? Now, please tell me, are you going to work individually or with a group?
Ma'am, can you please repeat the instruction, please?
Okay. Instructions. Okay, I shall try. I wanted to with ICQs and CCQs to ask you questions, but okay. Now you are going to match the words with their definitions. The definitions are mixed. You are going to work individually, and for this test, you have about 2 minutes. Is it okay? Now, please tell me how much time do you have for this test?
Okay, teachers, teacher Alice mentioned that you need to match the words to the definitions.
Uh-huh.
And she's asking how long or how much time do you need, teachers?
Yes, these are some teachers. Remember, when you enter and go to have a lesson, you always have in your lesson plans ICQs and CCQs because these are very important one for you. If you don't have such kind of questions in your lesson plan, it means you can give instruction to your pupils, to your students, and say, do you understand? And they say, yes, but maybe many of these students, they haven't understood it. That's why always please pay attention to this ICQs and CCQs and be attentive when you give clear instructions. Everything is clear in order to answer and escape such kind of questions, yes or no, because it's not truth. 90% of these answers when you go and say yes or no, it's not true for them. Okay?
Yeah. I think Ms. Olga would like to give her a response, teacher Alice. Ms.
Yes,
Olga?
why not?
Yeah, ma'am. Could I request having the what do you call this? The other part because I can't see the last part, but I will try to match the words. I think one, two, three, four, five, six, seven.
Uh-huh,
We have 7 words, right, ma'am? Okay,
uh-huh.
so the first word is book. Uh, to book is to have a request to save a specific room for a future date. Check
Mhm.
in. Uh, what? Check in. Wait.
Mhm.
I'll skip that. Housekeeping and maid. Staff or members that clean the rooms and linen.
Mhm.
Reservation. I think I mixed that up. I think that was a request to save a specific room for a future date. But I think book and reservations kind of seem the same. I'll skip that first. Luggage,
Mhm.
baggage, suitcases. Wake up call. A morning phone call from the front desk acts as an alarm clock. Room service, delivery of food to or other services requested by guests. So I
Mhm.
think I mixed up book and reservation. So reservation, I think I could say it's arranged to stay in a hotel. And then check in is go to the front desk to receive keys. And then book would be uh, to arrange to stay in a hotel. I don't know if I'm correct, ma'am, but that's my answer. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think it was a very quick one. Now I'm going to send your teachers the transcript of the one, and I shall try to do in this case. We are going to have a listening. I shall turn it on from my computer. Maybe it will be okay and you will be able to hear it. Okay, let's try in order because maybe it was because of that I'm not host. That's why we have difficulties. Now, I'm going to play the recording. Just please tell me, do you hear the voice of it or not? And then I shall put it from the beginning. Mhm.
Difficult guests.
Do you hear it?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Track 9.
Okay, if you hear it, Brian, I have sent you the transcript of it. Now I'm going to play the recording. The main is it. What? Here we have some questions. Here are our instruction for it. You are going to listen to the conversation and answer the questions. You are going to work individually, then we shall have an open class discussion. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what is the main instruction of this activity? What should you do?
Listen.
Listen.
Okay, and are you going to listen and write down, or are you going to listen and then answer the question? Do you remember the
Listen.
instruction?
Yeah,
Yes,
listen then answer the question.
yes, at first listen and then answer the question. Okay, let's start.
Exercise 1.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
Fine, thank you. I have a reservation in the name of Lopez.
Mr. Diego Lopez?
Yes, that's right.
You're staying with us for 2 nights.
Yes, that's correct.
I'm sorry, Mr. Lopez. Your room isn't quite ready yet. Normally our check-in is from 2 p.m.
Yes, I know that, but my flight arrived early.
I'm sorry, but housekeeping are still cleaning your room.
That's not very good. What do you suggest I do?
Well, you're welcome to store your luggage with us. May I suggest you have a cup of coffee in the restaurant? When your room's ready, I'll come and get you. Is that okay?
Okay, but how long will that be?
I'll ask housekeeping to do your room as quickly as possible.
Thank you. I'd appreciate it. I want to freshen up and get changed before my meeting. How do I get to the restaurant?
Just go around the corner to your right, sir.
Track 10.
Okay, was it clear to you or not? Did you manage to catch the meaning of the conversation?
Yes, ma'am, but in my case, I think to listen again.
Okay, Brian, do we have a time? Do we have time to listen it again or not?
Teacher Alice, as much as we wanted, okay, because they are really engaged into this kinds of activity, but can you give it at until 3:10, okay? Or sorry,
Mm-hmm.
10 or 11:10. 11:10 in your end. It's 11 in your
Uh,
end, right? 11 in the afternoon,
uh,
teacher.
yes, we have about 6 minutes.
Yes,
I think.
please. Thank you, teacher.
Okay, but what's interesting that I have just look. I shall let's do only this one, but I shall show you the other activities. If you want, later I can also send your teachers listening audio version also. Here I have the activities that we have. As we are short of time, as I see, we have about 6 minutes to finish. I would like to have a practical, the whole practical part. I think one day maybe we will have a chance to have only practical part, just to practice. In this case, I shall only introduce you with types of activities that I'm going to have with you in your lesson. Let's imagine that we have had about it. It will be the first one, listen to the conversation and answer the questions. These questions are given before listening because it gives an opportunity the listener, the student, to concentrate on several typical questions and not only just listen for it, just only listen in general and catch the meaning, but also pay attention to the answers of specific questions. The next activity that I had is activity choose the right word to complete the sentences. It's also very interesting. In this case, as you see, I don't concentrate on listening. In this case, after listening, it's post-listening activity. We try to remember, to revise, and also memorize the information that we have gained during the listening. For it, as it will be as one of our students, when I ask, can you ask the questions? They say, we need to listen it one more time. That's why for second activities that we usually have after listening, we try to give answers, to try to give versions in order to not to be embarrassed. I don't remember this fact, this. I am sure that when you have, for example, the three answers, it will be very easy for you to choose. That's why the second one, I have kind of activity. The next one, it's a little bit freer practice because here we try to concentrate and to remember what am I going to say if I have such and such, but it can be easy because I give here I have words which can help me to concentrate and to do it easier than if I don't have the words. And this one is as other tools are controlled practice, and as you know, in your lesson plans you should have also freer practice, but there is no control. This type of it, I have a situation. The guest has arrived too early to check in. I have the words for the guest as a help, and you are going to be, because you are student, you are ESP student, and in this case, your aim is to learn how to communicate in this situation. You are maybe a manager or administrator of the registration place, and that's why your aim is to be able to speak with guests. As a help, we have guest words, and you something mentioning greets the guest. You have been expected, Mr. Brown. Check it in is from 2 a.m., p.m., etc. It gives also some kinds of help you to concentrate to answer everything and choose as the right answer, as it can be if you, for example, are short of time. This one you can leave it as a homework or something. If you have much time, it can be used as an optional task for you, and you can use it, which is also something that it's not connected, it is not taken from the listening audio, but it concerns to the problem that you have been discussing. Because as you remember, before beginning, I just asked you questions. Do you have difficult guests? Our topic was hotels, but I was trying to transfer from your everyday life, everyday situation into a specific one. That's why I try to gain information for you. Be always, I want just to say that be always open, don't be afraid. Do everything. You can use your experience, your life experience, I don't know, your educational background, everything. You can use it in order to have interest in your topic. Because if your students are not interested in your topic, you said that it's 50% your lesson is failed, will be failed in this case. And as an end, I have another one, numbers the sentences in the correct order. It depends on how much time do you have. If you have much time, you can organize and have many tasks for it. But remember the first rule. Please always, when you make a lesson plan, pay attention to the duration of your lesson, because you can have many tasks in your lesson plan. Your pupils can go jump from one into, but at the end of the lesson, when you say, for example, students, you have a basket, please put in your basket every effective, detailed information, I don't know, knowledge that you have gained during our lessons, you will say that all the baskets of your pupils are empty because they just managed to jump from one activity into another. That's why you can have two or three activities during your lesson, but be effective ones than the ones that many tasks. In this case, I try to, in my lesson plan here, I have many tests, but because I wanted to show what kind of tests can be included in your ESP. But when you have, as Brian is going to have a lesson plan with you, in this case, please choose two, maximum three, in order to catch, in order to manage to do. It's more effective when you have 5 minutes more, but you have done everything, because these 5 minutes you can use for with your students in order to overcome, to have some kinds of conclusions, etc., etc. That's why be attentive when you just make a plan. Always pay attention to the time, the time duration. I think it's all for me. I don't know. Mhm.
All right.
Mhm.
Well, the
I
time
think
was
it
really
can.
the
I
problem,
think. I
teacher.
think it can be effective one. I don't know how.
Yeah. Actually, teacher, it was really nice. And then the example that you've used, I guess my students, okay, they are really excited to create their own ESP at the end of this course because the topic that you've shown, it allowed them to see what are the tests that we need to give. So you already gave them a glimpse of what are they gonna need to do.
Okay, I'm open and will be glad to help all of you if you are going to make a lesson plan. I just, as I have promised them to show you. For example, this is a book, one of the books that we have for ESP hotels. This one is for example, business ones. This one for economical students. Here we have for tourism. It's very interesting one because, as you see from the pictures, you have everything for tourism. I even here we have how to lay the table. I want to show these pictures to you. Even this one we have in these books. I can show, for example, this one for architectures. We have for managers. We have some books for lawyers. Here we have for economists, different kinds of books. I think when you want to be a ESP trainer, in this case, you will need much books um, in order to have a good lesson plan.
You have
Okay,
a large
as
collection, teacher. That was really interesting. If only I could have those books as well, because
Brian, some of them I have in PDF version. I can send you.
oh, that's wonderful. That will be really helpful, teacher. Maybe we can talk about that later on. But then, teacher Alice, thank you very much. Again, the time was the only problem, but then the idea is there. As we move towards the middle of your discussion, more complex ideas were being given to the students. That's why they are really eager just to listen. Okay, accept all the informations you're giving. So we couldn't say more, but thank you very much. Teachers, can you open your camera so that at least we can take a picture with
Thank you
teacher
also,
Alice?
Brian. Thank you also for a chance because in this case, as I have mentioned, I have also students from Philippines, and I have already known something about your culture, about your all of you, how beautiful and how clever you are. I have it's already 1 year, yes, when I am
Oh, that's
working with
really
my student Mira. Her name is Mira, and I know and thank you all of you. I think that in my slides, in my PPTs, there is effective and beneficial information for you, which can be used in future by you to have a good, real, effective lesson plans and also to have good, successful lessons. because from the eyes of your student, you can just guess was your lesson effective one or another.
Yeah, well,
Thank you very much.
definitely. You're much more
Yes.
welcome. So, teachers, kindly open your cam again, please. Angelica, Miss Doria, okay, Mr. Beto. Ferlin, can you open your camera? Mr. Recampo? Okay, I think she might be having problems. But yeah, just to save time, give us your biggest smile, everyone, in 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Again, Teacher Alice, thank you very much. Okay, maybe there will be another part of this, maybe at before the end of the course itself, so that at least you can, advise them again if the activities that they're preparing for the final output is really appropriate. Okay, so this is not just the
Yes.
first session.
Yes, if they have any kind of difficulties about preparing their ESP slide presentation, I'm open. We can have another meeting where I can look through their presentation and give any kind of results. And also, I would be glad to be present when you will present your presentations in
Oh,
order to see
lovely.
what the outcomes. Yes, I would be very glad. Just before presentation and during the presentation
Oh
in
my,
order
that
to
was
know.
really.
Okay,
That's so much,
thank you
teacher.
also.
Thank you very much. I guess we can talk about that on our, when we're chatting. So thank you very much. Okay, and I guess because they still have another class, maybe if you have questions, teachers, feel free to send it to me so that I can send it to Teacher Alice. All right. So, Teacher
Okay,
Alice, thank
after the
you.
session, Brian, I shall send you
Thank
all the materials that I have used.
Yes, yes. We'll talk about that later, Teacher Alice. Again, have a good day ahead. And my teachers are really thankful that they have attended this session we have. So, see you again, teacher.
Thank you so much, Teacher Alice.